Hello everyone, I'm Jaha Zainabu and this is Storytime with Jaha Zainabu 36 slash 365. Welcome. So we are back. For the past 4 days, I have been having crazy technical difficulty uploading videos. I don't know what in the Mercury retrograde was going on, but we are back and in effect. And yeah, I spent 4 days trying to upload the same video. But whatever, we're here now. But today we are at 35. So 30, did I say 35? 36. Sorry, today is 36. So today I'm reading from a collection called Say Their Names. Say Their Names. So the collection is called Say Their Names. And let me just say about this collection, it's not an easy read. None of them are easy to hear. They are probably all triggering. So, they are not all deceased. Some are names that we should say because it's a shame what happened. I am saying this because if this is something that you feel might trigger you, this is probably not the video for you to see today. Again, it's Say Their Names, and I hesitated for a very long time about even putting this together. This is never a collection I have ever read out loud. Some of these poems I have read out loud, but not as a collection, never back to back to back to back to back to back. I did decide to make a collection of these stories because they pretty much existed in my blogs and in my journals, and I just didn't want them to disappear there. I wanted them to have their own space, their own book, their own collection where they lived. And this reading aloud their names is just me honoring them today, me honoring this collection today. So again, if this is something that could trigger you, this is why this is why I am mentioning it now. My feeling is that I will read probably a lot of them and then close with some work from another book. Just because. And I might not, you know how we do. And the exercise is just because sometimes we have to write hard stories. In the end, it's the artist who are going to tell the news. And that's what it is. This first poem is called Bullies, Babies, Us. What happened to us? That a 14-year-old girl is beaten, cries for help onlookers video, for Facebook, for YouTube, and now she is missing. Away from her family, reading posts with laughs, pokes, and jokes about her begging for help. Have you ever begged for help while you were being kicked in the head? Who are we that this is funny, that a missing girl beaten and shamed? San Diego, Carlsbad High School, I am sorry, Bailey. But what good is my sorry, my poem, my tear? I am sorry that you screamed for help and was videotaped instead to be shown and spread online for us to comment and like. Hadia Pendleton. I'll state here that I am not certain if her name is pronounced Hadia or Hadia. So my great apologies if I am mispronouncing her beloved name. I am tired of writing poems about babies dying for nothing. I am ill in all ways of babies dying because somebody fired a gun, where people were just living their lives, where children were just playing hide go seek or freeze tag, but freeze tag is just a game. Somebody unfreeze this baby before I lose my mind, before the world loses its mind. This is no poem. This is my breath leaving my body. If there is another poem, I will write it. If there is another body, I will write another poem. For what good it does. That is my work. Those words won't make a difference either. I suppose I am falling out of hope. Who can write a poem about a 15-year-old girl hearing a gunshot, running away, losing her life? Who can write a poem about anything else? Sweet Hadia, oh, your smile, your eyes, your perfect face. This is happening. This did happen. I have to keep scribbling your name with my bare, dry fingers to remind myself that this is the world. My tears and out-of-breath self are just not enough. I don't understand. And so what if I did understand? Would my new knowledge stop babies like you from dying, from being chased down by bullets and being tagged it? For Marco and the McMillan family, I drive home with the sweetest love poems in my head. The first line is always the hardest. For me, it has to be just right, you know. It's gone now, though. That just right first line. The thought of love and my hush name held right on his tongue. Marco McMillan, black man, mayoral candidate, 33 years old, Clarksdale, Mississippi, dragged, set on fire, dead. And now I cannot write some love poem about kisses on my neck, about rain on my head. I keep reading and looking for the whys, the how comes hidden behind. Police facts and coroner statements. I keep reading, keep reading, knowing I get so sucked in. I can't scrape two prayers together to get me off of this couch, staring at his smile, his eyes, his skin like black men I know. This is the news. This is the world. I keep missing my son. These nasty salt kisses, kissing him for Emmett, for Trayvon, for Marco. But my son deserves his own kisses for his own alive self. But I am every black young man's mama, everyone, Mississippi, goddamn. For Tanya McDowell. If a tree falls in the forest, someone will hear it. Someone will. Someone will give that tree a name, a proper burial. If a black woman gets sentenced to 12 years in jail for sending her son to school outside her district, but school, 6 years old, public school, will someone hear? For Kamani Gray, for all of us, and for you too. 16 years old, Flatbush, New York, Brooklyn, city life, black life, babies, black babies again and again shot down by police. Witnesses say he was fixing his belt, screaming, "Stop, stop, don't let me die." Kamani Gray, Kamani Gray. See how your mouth has to smile when you say both his names. I did not know. Kamani Gray. Kamani Gray. But somehow I knew all of the Kamani Grays, all of their brown faces messied around my bones like gravel in my swallow. Every single time I hear too many city streets lit up like hell, candles burning, burning corners where our babies died. We don't want burning candles. We want our babies back. We want you to mouth their names in your prayers, your songs, your thoughts, your cereal, your soup. We want you to see our babies, our boys, our black boys, those big, tired eyes, afraid for the day. This is no way to live. This is no way to live. But then you already know. You already know. For Marissa Alexander. For Marissa Alexander, who fired a warning shot in the air to keep her abusive husband from abusing her again. And while no one was hurt, we were all hurt again. She was sentenced to 20 years. I dare you to say 20 years with a straight face. I wish I was a better poet. I wish I could paint this picture better with words I have never used before, but I am not. I am the same poet, after all, who has cried this despicable cry before, who was wondering again, why being black and woman is to be silenced and discarded. I am Marissa Alexander, and so are you. We are being captured again, in plain sight, again, chained, again, sold again. Tired as these lungs are, I will still scream her name. My name, your name too. I have questions about her children, about the message to the world, to boys, girls, our girls, about protecting ourselves, about the price we pay for standing our ground. For Aria Wright, I witch my words like prayer and spell you home. You are not a missing, not you. Not you. You are a found. You are a home. You are a safe. We will see you well. We are bigger than you know. We are your mothers, we. Your fathers. We are the we of your aunts, cousins, friends. We pray you home. Your worries lifted, your fears away. Breathe, baby, baby, breathe. Breaking my heart. Sabrina Fulton had to listen to her son's voice as she sat on the stand, had to hear him scream again. When the attorney asked her who the voice belongs to, she called all of his names. Trayvon Benjamin Martin. For Carlos Vigil, for us, all of us. I am sorry to those who I offended over the years. I'm blind to see that I, as a human being, suck. I'm an individual who is doing an injustice to the world, and it's my time It's time for me to leave. Please don't ever feel sorry for me or cry, because I had an opportunity at life, and that opportunity is over. I'm sorry that I wasn't able to love someone or have someone love me. I guess it's best though, because now I leave no pain onto anyone. The kids in school are right. I am a loser, a freak, and a fag. And in no way is that acceptable for people to deal with. I'm sorry for not being a person that would make someone proud. I am free now. Carlos. XOXO. These are the words of Carlos Vigil, 17, from Valencia County, New Mexico, put up on Twitter Saturday afternoon before he killed himself. He had been being teased since the 3rd grade. How much can one human being take? He was a boy, a flesh and blood boy. He was glass and eggshell, fragile as heart. He was feeling as magnet. He was brave as fear, naked and ready to hope. Teasing is something. Sticks and stones rarely break bones. Words hurt all the time. I don't know what good poems are anymore. Maybe someone will read. I dream. Maybe scrape hate from their tongue. Perhaps I will search myself for words I tied around another soul's tomorrow. Who are we to hate someone so free, like penny candy, 10 for a dime? This is how we value life. This is how we care. I know it's a lot. I know it's heavy. And I know. And it's a heavy thing to hear. And it was heavy for them to live. Yeah. Daily news daily for Dion Payne. I must not allow myself to be swallowed up in the sadness of news. No matter how horrific, no matter that 2 grown white men raped and beat and killed a 16-year-old black boy, dropped his unconscious body off at an emergency room, no matter his death shortly after his mother's tears. Have you ever heard a mother cry and scream for her boy? His friends, his father, his teachers, his block. I cannot be swallowed up. I cannot this time. My prayers are for all of us. My prayers are for my own angry self. He had a troubled past, they said. The boy who was raped and beaten and died. A troubled past, they said. Like a troubled past is a sentence to die, to be raped and killed. We live in the world that tells girls not to get raped, tells boys not to get killed, and tells us to smile. If you know how to move on, then tell me about that. I am angry, tight-fisted, afraid. It is outrageous, the attack on our boys, our girls, our bodies, our lives. Soon, come help. we hope our big eyes open every day. Baby boy now gone. A woman in San Antonio, Texas. This is a horrible poem, so if you are already triggered, you should leave. A woman in San Antonio, Texas, ate her 3.5 weeks old baby's brain and other body parts. She claimed the devil made her do it. 3 of his tiny toes chewed off, his face torn away, his head severed, his brains ripped out, postpartum, some other mental illness, so many speculations right now, whatever the reason. Her baby is dead. Her little boy is dead. Scott Wesley Sanchez is gone. Scott Wesley Bullschultz Sanchez is gone. Audie Sanchez is someone's neighbor. Someone stood next to her in line at the corner store, the deli, the bank. Someone cut her grass. Someone sat beside her on the bus. Someone crossed the same street, but no one knew. Our daughters now for Unique Bishop. Our daughters are killing each other with guns, with knives, with cars. These are our little girls. Los Angeles, street gangs, words. A mother is gasping for breath right now. Goddess, give her breath. Another woman's baby struck down her daughter with her car on purpose. 4 months pregnant, but now she is dead on purpose. What could they have been fighting about? Now, one baby is dead and another behind bars with bad food, prison guards, solitary rats. Unique Bishop's life is over. Another baby's life is changed forever, and for what? And why? Like why can even matter now? Now that so much has changed forever. Not love. When I was in junior high, Myra was in high school. She was beautiful, with Hershey brown skin and black girl long hair, dark eyes, and pretty white teeth. I didn't know him so well, but rumor has it he had them green eyes, folks say. It was because of that he shot her in the face. Said if he couldn't have her, then nobody could. And so, I remember that. I remember where I was hearing news about Myra's death. I was in junior high school. I'm sorry, my throat is crazy. But I was in junior high school, and I was at a slumber party the night before. it happened. And no, not before it happened, but I was at a slumber party. And the next morning, when we were sitting at the breakfast table, the mother of my friend who was throwing the slumber party, she asked me, she said, "You might know this girl." So she's reading the paper. And she said to me, "You might know this girl because she lives on the west side near you." I grew up on the west side of Long Beach, and where the slumber party was on the east side of Long Beach. And I was the only one from the party from the west side. So she asked me, she said, "You might know this girl because she lives on the west side near you." And she showed me her picture, and it was Myra. She was only in high school, and I remember she had a boyfriend. I mean, I knew him like very peripherally. I didn't know him. I never had a conversation with him, but I knew her. And she had this boyfriend, and they had kind of a grown-up relationship. But according to people who were there, he showed up at her house. And he had told her before that if he couldn't have her, no one would. And he shot her in the face in her mama's house. I know that there is good in the world. There is good in the world. And it's a thing I have to constantly remind myself of. There is good in the world. I know the danger of slipping into work like this. I know it. And I am going to take care of myself. I am not going to, I am most likely not going to read everything. But I just wanted to give this book a voice. I wanted to say their names. And so I am, like I said, I'm going to take care of myself. But I think I'll read a few more. And then I think we'll shift into something else. Troy Anthony Davis. My heart is heavy with this. I am sad for all of us. I am sad for those who rejoice in this man's death. It hurts me that we would kill a man with no evidence. Justice should look different from this. Justice should be sure. If it will not be fair as its name suggests, it should at least be sure. I ache for you who felt like this is someone else's problem. I am sorry for those of you who feel like the battle is now over. This is a sad story about us, about Georgia, about death. This is about all of us. Whether we see ourselves in him or not, whether we believe in the system or not. Troy Anthony Davis. Troy Anthony Davis. No matter how many times you say his name, his body is dead. It is hard to believe in a system like this. Killing a man under the law, lack of evidence and truth and trust, color lines, class lines, and lines I can't see. You wouldn't do this to your own. Not like this. Not like this. Not without absolute. Not without knowing. I think this is going to be the last one. Cause mental health. Remembering Phoebe Prince. This is for Phoebe Prince, who killed herself because she was bullied in school. This heartache is for her because her name should be remembered and called out loud, even though it hurts to remember. Bullied in school by 9 students and everyone else who saw and did nothing. These bullied children are flopping fish, making their way through halls. trying to find air and space that is there. Some teacher saw, some custodian forgot, some lunch person looked away, somebody told, and Phoebe is still dead. Let us say her name over and over until her ghost haunts us to shame. We are murderers. We kill with our closed mouths. We stab with our turned heads. Our baby was bullied to death. Death at 15 by her own hands, to miss school and be permanently excused. So we're going to switch gears. Yeah, we are. But like I said, I wanted to give give that collection a voice. I don't know why, but I did. Sometimes we write hard stories. We do, and they don't feel good. Yeah. I'm gonna switch to the first my first ebook in my ebook series. I'm gonna do that, and yeah. This poem is called Friend. I read some of these I read before, so they will probably sound familiar if you have been listening to the other story times. Hear them again. This next half is just to like massage your back. Friend, you can call me with nothing to say. Your silence scream as breeze, and I will listen to your heavy breath on the line. I will read between the sighs. I will not figure it out for you. I will sit there in the suckiness of sadness with you. The solution is in the listening. When you are on the verge of losing your mind, when your fists are raised, even at God, I will hear you. I will pray with you. I will fight and scream with you. I will hold the garbage that you want to dump. Your trash will not be too heavy. Your worries never too burden for my lifting. Wallow, curse, and tear. I will cover you to the other side, and I will not rush you. I am not afraid of your tears. Your anger and your fears will not push me away. I am mountain, my love. Gorilla, tree, rock, brick, lion. I am a vault. Tell me what you need. Call me by name and watch me come running. This poem is called Take Us Back. I wrote this poem for the elders in the church and the elders in our community, on our blocks, the elders in our social circles. Our older Black women are leaving the planet. And this poem, by the way, is called Take Us Back. So our older women are leaving. You know, our grandmothers, our meemaws, our big mamas are leaving. And with that leaving is also a leaving of how we did things if we don't get the lessons from them. how we made biscuits and pressed hair and reared babies, how we and so this is to them. It's called Take Us Back. It was the moaning mostly, the whispered guttural moan that escaped the pursed lips and Sunday pink lipstick, that groaned from underneath the belly, that granted the go-ahead to preach pastor, to the hallelujah shouts from peppermint breath, that knocked cracked leather black pumps, holding swollen ankles on wooden floors, closed eyes and tears falling slow. Bread of heaven, feed me till I want no more. I remember you, Grandmama. We honor you, Auntie. The organ keys you made sing, the tambourines you reached for and brought down from nowhere, Negro women who could outwalk a lie on broken toes, courageous women who got a prayer through, breathing a breath deeper than the last. Jesus, keep me near thy cross. Pass me not, O gentle Savior. We've come from these women. Carry the world's shoulders like theirs, lest we forget and think we carried ourselves. Gonna lay down my burdens down by the riverside. See, these are our mothers with backwoods grammar and perfect memory. This little light of mine, we need you now, Grandmama. Our fine homes are poisoned without your wrinkled fingers folded for breakfast prayer. There was something about your Jesus, your John Kennedy, Martin King, Mahalia Jackson, glued to dusty wood mantle over stale candy in crystal glass bowl. Hold to God's unchanging hands. Big Mama, we call on you now. Forgive us, please, our education, our money, our everything we think we know too good for your hymn book, your hot comb, your pork chop. Put your feet in our laps, great warriors. Let us massage your boiled blood and blistered backs. We are listening, queens. All the time we heard your song, but could not hear at the same time. Let witch hazel leak between your fingers, rub our temples, and sing your songs again. We are wiser now. Those spirituals we ignored, sing them to us again. See, Mother, see. Our arms are not smooth like before. We have our own battle wounds now. We can hear you now, sing with you now. Take us back. Take us back to the place we first remembered. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? So now I am switching to my latest collection called Who I Am, which I haven't read these. So I'm going to read from here. And it's called Who I Am. That's what the collection is called. The first poem is called My Mother Calls Me Robin. I am her first child, the nervous one. The one with shake, even in the still of my hand. The one with the ugly cries. Her artistic child, the emotional one. Spilled milk was always something to cry over. I was the thrifter, the lover of Aunt Bobby's hand-me-downs and Goodwill finds. And there was always that red coat I wanted to wear everywhere that didn't go with anything. I tried to take care of everybody with my long and fragile fingers. I couldn't go 10 steps without turning a cartwheel, even in the grocery stores, even in the malls. I am a grown woman now, whatever that means. Still, I am a square of toilet paper in the wind against my mother's tears. We are still trying to figure each other out, trying to make each other happy, trying not to make each other cry. And we may always do this dance. The I love yous said out loud never did come easy. We were an implied love family. My mother always worked, and I had everything I needed. And I gift her now with poems for her birthdays, for Mother's Days. I am always seeking her a man all this time. Maybe that's what firstborns do. Our lives are parallel, hers and mine. We are shoelaces, she and I, coming in and out of holes, wrapping up, tying into little bows. My favorite days, I think, were early mornings when I was a little girl at a table in the corner at Denny's over eggs, hot chocolate, cheese. I knew she loved me, hard as it was to say. Before I was this poet, this spiller of my life, I was a long-legged, skinny, shy of a thing when days were complicated, and I practiced being brave. She taught me to be tender and kind. She gave me air, dreamed I would fly, and so she named me Robin. You know, I think I did read this in another story time, from the collection Who I Am. I think I did. I think now, I'm just reading other poems so that just so that I don't leave you in a funk. Just so that I don't leave you sad. And it's a thing that we have to do. I mean, it's a little different, like me looking into a screen where you are more in control with how you're left, I mean, I am very much in control of that. But I mean, in the sense that you can choose to turn your computer off and come back or not, It is something that we do have to be careful of as poets who perform, yeah, like reading the room is important. If I were in a if I were featuring, at an open mic, the first half is not something that I would just read unless that was like the theme for the night, which I don't know if that, well, there are like say her name themes. So, but you want to leave people, and you want to be responsible for how you leave people. Like when you like hit heavy, and the whole room is in tears. Like, you gotta be able to read the room. You gotta be able to say, you know what, it's time to shift. Like, let's get us out of here. It's important. You don't want rows of people getting up, leaving. You don't want, and more importantly, more than, your ego affected by them leaving. You don't want, you want to leave people with something to hold on to. It is true that there is good in the world, and it is true that there is a lot going on. And it is up to us. It is up to us as artists to tell the news. It is up to us. We have the responsibility of being careful with how we do it, though. So let's be mindful of that. I mean, even when, we tell stories about, like, our own stories that hurt. it's a tricky line. It's a tricky thin line about telling painful stories of your own that you are not healed from. For instance, you don't want to be in a situation where your audience is so tense that you break down and they feel like they have to take care of you as the speaker. And does it happen? Yes, it happens. It happens all the time where, we stand on stage and I don't know where my voice is, but we stand on stage and we thought we were ready to let go of some story. And as it turns out, we're not. And what do? Here's the thing. The thing is, you can always in the moment be responsible for communicating that to your audience. But you have to be responsible for communicating that to yourself, to your heart. And this is one of the reasons I believe in therapy. Get a good therapist. Yeah, I believe in that. Like, work your stories out. If you are not over, I don't even want to give a list of things you could not be over. I mean, this night has been a little, been sensitive enough. You know what you could not be over. If you're not over it, maybe it's not time to stand on stage and do that. And it depends on what stage, truthfully. I am and have been a part of the Anonsai Writers Workshop in Leimert Park in Los Angeles since 1992. And the world stage is a different and special place. It's a different and special poetry house and community. So if I were, it is a place safe enough for me and you to bring work that you are still working through emotionally. It is a place safe enough to do that. Now, but that is not every place. If you experience a death close to you and you're booked at, I don't want to start naming venues, but you're booked at a place that is not the place to do that. There is a way to honor your loved one in the moment without reading that piece. A silent prayer. You can, just in a moment of transparency, communicate with your audience like, it's great to see y'all and I'm glad that I'm here. It's been a hard day, say a prayer for your girl because whoopsie whoop, and shout out to the homie and take a deep breath. Say a quick prayer. Commune with the God you know. I don't know what you do to get yourself in. I don't know what you do. I know what I do. But get yourself together. Get yourself together. Talk to yourself. I have a whole self-talk that I do all the time. In my early days of poetry and performing, I was that poet that memorized everything. And, I was that kind of like set myself on fire kind of poet. I was her, and it's not really who I am these days. I rarely take the time to memorize things. It's not really about taking the time. It's just not something that I do. I will stand on stage and I will read from a roll of toilet paper if I want to. But the thing is, I can read. Don't just take it on like, I ain't got to memorize it. I know my shit. You know what I mean? I'm very comfortable reading. I'm very comfortable with my words in my hand. And I know how I am skilled enough at looking at those words and being with the other human beings in the room with me. I am skilled at that. I have practiced that. I have worked at that. So, the opposite of like not reading is, I mean, not the opposite. What am I trying to say? Just because you are not that poet who chooses to memorize your work does not mean that you don't have to work and practice and work on your delivery and be professional and be good and be entertaining. That's what this is. Or stay at home and write books. Okay? So it does not mean that you don't have to be entertaining. You do. You have to be familiar with your work. You have to know how to read. You have to kind of have an idea of what comes next. You have to be able to be connected to the woman in the fifth row crying. You gotta at the same time be connected to whatever this dude is doing over here. It's a part of it. So, I'll read a few more. How about that? I will read a few more. I'm looking for one that there's one called, I'm looking for a poem, and I don't remember what it's called, but it's a poem about, I think it's Cope. I think it's called Cope. I'm not the best at naming poems. I'm not. Should work on that. But I think this is called Cope. Anyway, the poem is about what I'm looking for it. The poem is about my mother, my sister, and I were in the living room, and my mother was telling my sister and me that she and my father were getting divorced. And when I was a child, no, that's not it. It's not called Cope. When I was a child, it was very hard for me to be with, like, things I had to feel. I don't know if that makes sense. And so I would just push them away. And one of the things that I would do back then is when I was in a situation where I had to, like, be in a conversation. This is as a kid. As an adult, I'm different. But as a kid, if I was in a situation where I had to be, like, in a conversation that made me sad, I would do cheers for some reason. Like, I was a cheerleader as a kid. And I would do cheers. And so in this poem that I'm looking for, yeah, here it is. Here it is. The poem is called Cheers. Hey. So my mother is explaining that she and my father are getting divorced. And I'm a kid. And that your mother and father are getting divorced. What? And so I started doing a cheer, because that's what I did. And my mother, she knew me, and she knew what was going on. And bless her heart, like, she was like, I know that this is just hard to hear. And she kept, she kept with the story, and I was just like doing cheers. And she just kept with it. I'm going to read the poem, and it's going to make sense, I hope. Anyway, the poem is called Cheers. The night my mother announced that she and my father were getting divorced, we were in the house on Cameron Street. My sister Rashawn sat on the floor. Below me, I was lying on the couch with my head near hers. My mother was on her knees at the coffee table right in front of us. I remember it was nighttime. Those days, I did not allow myself to feel much. If I felt tears coming, I fought them off with inappropriate joy. Doing cheers was my method of choice. I don't even remember all of my mother's well-prepared words. My name is Robin. Yeah, I am a Virgo. Yeah, hey, hey. 'Cause I shake the best. Hey, your dad and we both love. I shake the best. Hey, you will always be your father. My name is Robin. Hey, my favorite color red. Hey, nobody will ever replace. I'm better than you because you pee in the bed. Hey, hey. And although he won't be living here because I shake the best. Hey, I knew what was going on, but I didn't want to hear it or feel it. Or most of all, I didn't want anyone to see me crying about it. Not even my mother, not even my sister. If I had to sit through it, I would not do so without my offbeat soundtrack in the background. And she honestly is still there inside of me. Sometimes there are days when the world is too much, when the world comes in too closely, when I am not ready to see. She is there. Hey, hey. This next poem is called Jungle Flowers. So the jungle, I have said on many story times, the jungle is a section of LA. It's an area in Los Angeles. As a matter of fact, in the movie Training Day with Denzel Washington, they were in it, and they were in the jungle. Now, the jungle does not look like Training Day. Like, people are not jumping from roof to roof and raising chickens. It's a little different and the same part, truthfully. Anyway, so the jungle flowers are, there's a group of us, there were 4 of us. Still, me, Jennifer Bowens, Imani Tolliver, and Yuri Henson. And we called ourselves the Jungle Flowers because we all lived at one point in the jungle, except for Yuri. Yuri never lived in the jungle, but she was kind of jungle by association. So she was, and we called ourselves the Jungle Flowers because to us, we made the jungle beautiful. So we were the Jungle Flowers, and we still call ourselves the Jungle Flowers. And this is a poem about the last time we were all together. Jennifer was twisting Imani's locks. Yuri was waiting next. I was there for the laughs and the wine. We watched The Color Purple and The Wiz. We wasn't wearing bras or no makeup or no shit like that. You're supposed to chill on girls' night, And we all did the dance to ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. We laughed and ate like no tomorrow. We cried when Nettie had to leave Mister's house. Even though we seen it a million times, we told our own stories of mental and sexual abuse. Of course, we know they one and the same. Even a sherm head know that the pussy ain't good if the head ain't straight. And we cast spells that night. And the good times are always good when they with your girls. We're the Jungle Flowers because all us used to stay in the jungle except Yuri, but she was jungle by association. I was the last to leave. Jennifer said I was going to be there when the Jews came back. Well, we cast a version of The Wiz for today. For Dorothy, we figure Keke Palmer, but they would probably cast Rihanna or Beyonce. Remember, this poem was written like 20 years ago. We figure the Tin Man may be Neo or maybe Ludacris. Scarecrow be Savion Glover or Chris Brown. Cowardly Lion be Anthony Anderson. We couldn't agree on the Flying Monkey, but the Wicked Witch was Tyler Perry as Medea. That day, way back then, 2009, 2010, was one of my favorite days. It was the last time the 4 of us were all together like that. Years later, Imani and I sat together at Yuri's father's funeral. I see Yuri every now and then, Imani too. I went to see Jennifer back in D.C., but we haven't been all together since that day when we laughed and we cried watching The Color Purple and The Wiz. You never know when, the last time is the last time. I hope that you are well, my friends. Take a deep breath. I hope that you are loving yourselves. I hope that you are loving your lives. Be good. Be easy. Peace.